Hello, my lovely Flosstube friends. My name is Sally. I am Flossie Sews and Grows here on YouTube and also on Instagram. Welcome to Flosstube number 58. It is Sunday the 20th of April and it is Easter Sunday, so happy Easter to you all. I'm coming a little bit late actually. Normally I will film on a Friday, but on Friday I just felt rotten, felt really poorly. I think I thought I was coming down with a bit of a cold. I'd had a kind of tickly throat a couple of days beforehand, and I woke up on Friday, no work because it was a bank holiday here in the UK, Good Friday, and yeah, I just didn't feel it at all. So I didn't film, and then yesterday we had a really busy day. We went and visited friends, and then today we've got a bit of a hectic one later on today. We've got family coming for Easter Sunday, and there's a football match on that Felicity and Simon will be watching. I'll probably watch too and stitch along if dinner's bubbling away and ready. But yeah, so a busy day later too. So I just thought it's a slightly quieter morning. Everybody's doing bits and bobs around the house. All the veg is prepped for Sunday dinner. I'll get on and film and have a chat to you. So thank you for joining me. If you're new, welcome. I really hope you enjoy listening to me chat about my cross stitch and all my projects, and I'd love it if at the end you could give me a little like and subscribe, and that would be great. It really helps me know that I'm doing the right thing, and people enjoy listening to me by the number of subscribers I'm getting. And if you are a returning viewer and you are a subscriber already, thank you so much for coming back. I love chatting to you all. So what has been going on? I've got one fully finished item to show you. I have to say I have actually finished more than one. So those of you who have been here before, if you saw the video I put out last week, which was a Flosstube extra, and it was my box of doom dive, I went in. Well, here it is actually. Here is the box still. There's some things been taken out of it. I've made some plans already, but it's still pretty much there. So this is my box of doom, which is all my stitches that are finished but not fully finished. And I did a video last week, went through everything in there. There were 43 projects in there, and actually found another one, so there are 44. Went through, showed them all to you, had some ideas about what I'm going to do, and I have finished a couple already, but I'm not going to show them all to you now until the end of May, apart from this one, because it needed to be finished for today. So here we are. Here is Happy Easter. And this was from the February Cotton and Twine subscription box. I actually swapped out the fabric, so I have stitched this on a 40 count Swan Bay fabric called Mary's Sampler. I just wanted it to be a little bit more yellow, and obviously I wanted to stitch with one strand over two, so I went for a 40 count. But I have used all the threads that came in the box, which was kindly gifted to me by the Cotton and Twine, so the historical sampler lady. So thank you very much for that. I wanted to stitch it 1 over 2, so you can see it's really delicate. So I've used all the threads that came in the kit and then in the box, and then I've also used the gingham. So I'm not going to show you the back. The gingham was only just big enough. So the finish for this, if you follow the instructions, are that the gingham is actually flush to your finish of this. But I just wanted to make it a little bit bigger. I just wanted to show off some of that gingham because I thought it just went really nicely. And yeah, and then I've glued these two pieces. So I've laced this to a piece of cardboard with some wadding, so it's kind of slightly bouncy, and then I've glued the gingham to a piece of cardboard. I've stuck them together, and then I've managed to get the rick-rack in not terribly straight because I'm not brilliant at things like that, but I still wanted to do it. And from when it's on display, I've got a little artist easel for it to go on display downstairs in the dining room. I'm hoping my mum won't look at it too closely. She'll look at the stitching and she'll like that. Hopefully she won't look at the straightness of the rick-rack. But I'm really pleased with it. I think it's beautiful. So happy Easter, everybody. So that is my fully finish, and you will see the rest that I've done this week at the end of May. So I think it's about 6 weeks till the end of May, and I said that I wanted to try and do half of the finished objects that I've got. So I think, yeah, I'm working on about 20, 22, 24. And I thought, it's 6 weeks, I've got to try and do 4 a week. Haven't hit that target this week because I've not felt well. I just didn't want to. And actually, I struggled to stitch a little bit as well because my eyes were watering a little bit on Friday. And, I didn't have work on Friday, so I could have actually spent some time fully finishing. Oh, did I do? No, I'd already laced that. So no, I didn't do anything Friday. I'd done that earlier in the week, and then I finished it off yesterday. But yeah, I've not really felt like doing fully finishing, and I probably would have done more stitching as well had I felt better. But I've still got another 5 weeks till the end of May, so it's all good. It's all good. So, but I have been working on my finish. My whips, of course, my whips. But I really want to finish some of my whips. I've got, I think I've got 24 at the moment, and I haven't actually had any new starts this month as yet. That might change. We'll see. But I really, I'm really keen to get some finishes. So I did have a look at my whip list and thought, right, what have I got that's not too far away from a finish? And one that I came up with was Cinnamon Stars. Now, I felt a bit funny about this one because it's an autumn one and I didn't really want to be stitching autumn. But oh my goodness, when I actually picked it up, I couldn't stop. It just was calling to me and just enjoying it so much that I couldn't put it down. So I will have shown you a picture of where it was the last time you saw it, and here it is now. So I've pretty much filled in quite a bit of that. There's just a couple of stones that are missing. I finished the house, I've done the roof and the chimney, I've done the chimney here, and then I've done quite a lot of those stars that are coming out and started to do some of these doodads here as well. So actually, I think I stitched a couple of the pumpkins as well. So I actually feel like I made quite a good bit of progress on that. And I did struggle to put it down, actually. I was really enjoying stitching on it, despite it being autumn. And the fact I was wanting to actually stitch on seasonal stuff, on kind of springy and summer stuff. But actually I was really enjoying it. So it might be, I might carry on with this into May. We'll see. We'll see. I started this in last August with my friends Caroline and Alex. It was Caroline's birthday start, so it was a hashtag Reach for the Stars, and we actually all started Cinnamon Stars. They've both finished it, so I think that's partly the reason that I'd really like to try and get it finished, because they've already done it. So I'm going to pop things away as I go. This is I loved this bag. This is a bag I bought in Stitch in London. I loved it because of the pumpkins on it, and it's one by Yasmin, from Yasmin's Made with Love. I just love the pumpkins on it, and it's quite nice. It's got quite a good stiff back in it, so it does actually stand up quite well. And I'm stitching this with, it's pretty much, I think all the called for pretty much in this. I might have made 1 or 2, but predominantly the Weeks Dye Works and Gentle Arts fancy flosses, and then I have just got a couple of DMCs in there, which are the DMC subs. I think I found that I had quite a lot of the threads in stash for this already, because I was also going to stitch Away We Ride by Blackbird and also Feast of Friendship by Blackbird, which are autumn and Halloween, and there were quite a lot of the same threads in this one as well, so it's quite handy. The 3 are all quite similar. The next one that I really want to get a finish on, you've seen this a couple of videos in a row, because I have been working on it, and it has been one that's just been calling to me to pick up, It's easy to stitch. It's easy to stitch in the evening when you're perhaps a bit tired and your eyes are a bit more achy. And it's Coffee and Eggs by Artsy Housewife. Lots of Roxy Floss Co. Did my own kind of conversion there. I'll have popped a picture up of where you saw it last. I don't feel I've made quite as much progress with this one as I have with Cinnamon Stars, actually. I've certainly done quite a few of the pink flowers. It's better with the board, I think, this one. I've done quite a lot of the pink flowers. I've done quite a lot of the leaves. I think that's... Oh, I think I might have finished this butterfly here and just done a little bit of filling up there. Perhaps not as much progress as I thought I might make. It is quite a big one. It's quite a big one, but I think, yeah, if I can keep on, it's not too far away from a finish at all. So yeah, those are the two that really, I think, if I kind of keep on, I will get finished, because I don't actually have any. I don't think I've got any smalls in my whip in particular. Oh, I have got one actually, and which again, another one that I've started work on because I thought I could get a finish on it. So I will show you that one. And the next one, this is the Historic Sampler Company, and this is the Secret Garden Sale. So I'll just pop a little picture of where it was last time, and I think you'll remember I'd stitched those birds incorrectly. So part 2 has now come out. I should have a picture of it, so we'll pop a little picture. Actually, I'll probably pop a picture that has been on Instagram of where Kim from Stitchy Squirrels has got up to, because she's stitched part 1 and part 2, and the photo is beautiful and she stitched it beautifully. So I think I'll probably pop a picture of that as well, so you can see what part 2 is like. Now I have switched out my fabric with this. I am stitching this on 35 count Weeks Dye Works parchment, and actually it's the same fabric that I'm stitching Coffee and Eggs on. I didn't tell you that. And Cinnamon Stars, that's a 36 count light mocha. Forgotten. So this is 35 count Weeks Dye Works parchment, so it's old Weeks, it's not the new Swigart one, but I'm enjoying stitching on it actually. You know, I think because it's 35 count, again, Coffee and Eggs, as I've said, it's one that I like stitching in the evening when I've got tired eyes. So this one is 2, although because I'm stitching this one with, this is a PDF, so it's a stitch along that's in 5 parts. So I was kindly gifted the fabric, thread and the needle minder for this. Gorgeous little right way up squirrel. And then the PDFs come every 2 weeks and it's in 5 parts. So if you can remember, I have incorrectly stitched the birds and I've left them. Haven't done anything with them yet. And then this is my start on part 2, quite a small start, because I was procrastinating a little bit. I kept looking at the pattern and thinking, do I pull these out yet? So I've kind of not. This was released on Monday, so it's nearly a week that we've had this second part. As you can see, I've not stitched a huge amount on it, but probably will do so in the next couple of days. And then it's another week before part 3 is released, which I think it's going to be that side. Can't quite remember. But really lovely. The threads for this are just beautiful, beautiful colours. Real kind of lovely garden, bright, summery vibes. So this has been a lovely one to do, just apart from making that slight frogging mistake on the birds. But I might just pick them out, might just frog them and then leave them and then stitch them again when the next part comes in. Yeah. So another one, actually, so this is the one that is a small that, again, I could get finished. Now, it's Blooming Tiny Town from Hand in Heart, and you will remember I started this last year. Here is the dismal start. I just stitched the middle little house and that was it. And so it was one of my Fun for 50 Sal starts, and I started it with my friend Nadine, who's Nadine X Stitch. And I think Nadine had a bit of a nightmare with it. Well, I didn't have a nightmare with it, but there were so many other new starts going on that it just got started and then put to one side. And I think actually Nadina said to me she had started it and didn't like, can't remember if she said she didn't like the fabric or the flosses, can't quite remember, and she's going to make a restart. Anyway, I messaged her and said, right, I'm going to start stitching on it. She said, yeah, I'm going to restart it. Life's just a bit busy at the moment, so but I will at some point. So hopefully in May we'll see a restart from Nadine. But I decided that it was probably one that isn't huge and probably could get some work put in, and at some point in the not too distant future could get a finish. So I have finished that middle house, and I have pretty much completed the one next to it, started on this one and started on this one as well. So again, this has been some really lovely stitching, really enjoyable. I'm stitching this on 36 count country vintage mocha, which I think I've stitched most of the other tiny towns I've done. I've done Honey of a Tiny Town, and I think actually I've kitted up a couple of others, and I thought, well, I'd use country vintage mocha as well. I'm stitching this predominantly with a mix of the called for fancy flosses and DMC, but I have made a couple of substitutions. Certainly this house here, that was a different colour, and I felt that it was just too similar to the fabric, so I changed the colour of the house, and I just wanted to make it a little bit jollier as well. I think it was a slightly duller colour. So yeah, and I think the door on this house, so this is a DMC, and then this is a fancy floss here, and the door on this house is supposed to be that colour, but they're actually quite close to each other, so I think I might actually swap that out as well, just to, yeah, because there is, if you can see on this flower here, there's the fancy floss, and then there's also actually it's fancy floss as well, but there's another colour in there to complement the flower, and they're very similar. So actually I think I will be making some substitutes there just to make a bit of variety in it. But it was lovely to pick that one up. I've got a feeling that Nadine and I started it last June, I think. So it's about time it got some time in on it and got stitched. Now the next one is my oldest whip. This was started in 2023. It's Remember Me by Teresa Cogurt. And I started this in memory of my dad and also Diana, who is Simon's mum, so my mother-in-law. Not by law because we're not married, but I would class her as my mother-in-law. And sadly, we lost Di 5 years ago on Wednesday. So I thought it was an apt time to pick up Remember Me and put some stitches in memory of Di. So this is why you saw it last time. And actually, I was a little bit frustrated with this one because I picked it up. It doesn't look like I've made an awful lot of progress, but I did spend quite a bit of time on it, and I've not ironed this one just because. I decided I was going to finish this bird and started counting it, and I obviously had stitched it incorrectly or miscounted it the last time I'd stitched it. So I had to unpick some of it and then restitch it. So I was a bit cross that I didn't actually get quite as much stitched on it as I wanted to. So I did some of that bird. I also did a little bit of fill-in on these two here. And that was about it. So it was a bit of a dismal session actually, but it was lovely to get it out. And my friend Charlotte, who I know from, I met her originally at, I think at the Chatelaine retreat, but she also comes to Cheshire Stitchers. She's quite a monogamous stitcher. She only stitches 1 or 2 projects at a time, and she's stitching this, and she didn't start that long ago, and she's pretty much caught up with where I am now, and I think she has moved across to here and stitched some of the border, and I think that would be, I think I really need to do that. I think I need to kind of break out from where I am to feel like I've made a bit of progress and I'm moving on with it. So we'll see. I might put this back. I only did 1 session on it, so I might put it back into my rotation to stitch on in the next month or so. Yes, because it is slow progress. It is on I'm stitching it on a 40 count. I think it's called Vintage Cream. It's a Zweigart. Although it's called vintage, it's not got the kind of mottling that vintage country mocha has on it. It's still quite a plain but a nice cream. It's on 40 count, so I do struggle to stitch it downstairs. That's probably what I did, where I counted incorrectly. I stitched it downstairs. So I do tend to stitch it more up here when I can use my magnifier. So again, that can be slow, that I perhaps only, quite often I'll stitch for a little bit in here after work and then go downstairs, have dinner, and then Fliss and I will watch a little bit of telly together and I'll stitch downstairs watching TV. So it wouldn't probably then come downstairs with me, but there we go. Now, the next two are my whip goes. So the first whip go that was, well, my first one that I've been working on was number 10, which was Americana Blue. And my plan for whip go, here we go, Americana Blue. And so this is by October House Fibre Arts. I will pop a picture of where I was with it last time. My plan with Whip Go is that I do 5 sessions within the month that Whip Go's called. So it could be 5 sessions that, I could stitch on it twice in one day, but it'll get 1 tick in my book for stitching on it on that day. So although I could stitch on it twice, that is still 1 session. So there are some days when I might get quite a bit done on it. There's other days where I might perhaps put in a thread and then something happens, I don't get to stitch on it again that day. If there's a new start or it's somebody's birthday and I'm planning something, it can be any length of session. I'm stitching it with Cottage Garden thread Labelle, which is a beautiful blue. And so let's have a look at it. I've actually managed in my 5 sessions to get quite a bit done on here. As you can see, I have finished the alphabets. I have come across on this bottom border here. It's quite a hard one to show because there's so much fabric. This bottom border here, I've come across. I haven't gone quite to the very end because if you can remember, I'm a bit short on this side here. So I need just to decide what I'm going to do with that. I might rechart it slightly. So I've made quite a lot of progress on this. Now, I was watching Sammy Sarah at the last weekend, her last Flosstube from Sunday, and she was talking about her thread a day, her daily thread, and that she finds, actually it's easier to do a thread a day when you're doing a monochrome chart because you're not having to change colour, so you could just put in 1 thread, stitch it, and then put it to one side. Now, this was my birthday start last year, my 50th birthday start, and so I think I think I've said I'd like to get it finished for my birthday for this year. So I'm thinking, I've not done 1 thread a day before, so I'm thinking I might just start doing that with this one and see if we can get it finished for my birthday. I have been thinking today though what to do, because I don't think I'll be able to stitch this down here because I think it will come too far over. I don't think I've got enough room. So I have been wondering whether to actually just finish it there. I don't know. I'm not too worried about not stitching the house. This is quite a traditional American house, and obviously the chart is Americana Blue. What I really did like about this though was the quilt. So I'm not worried if I don't stitch the house, but I will be sad to not stitch that quilt. So yeah, I'm going to get this row here done first, all the stitchy bits, and then I'm going to have a think about it, because actually my friend Caroline started this with me, who's Caroline's Stitch Corner, and she recharted it to stitch up here and some of the stitchy symbols, and it was beautiful. It was really nice. So watch this space. I'm kind of debating what I do. yes, we'll see. But I think I might put this back in the box of current stitchy. I have two boxes. I have a box with all my whips, and then I have another smaller box next to me on the floor, which has the projects that I'm stitching on at the time, so that when I come to film a floss tube, I know what I need to show you. So I might just put that back in the current whip box and think about working on it as one thread a day and get some real good progress on that. So my other whip go was, that's stitched. So I've told you it was with Cottage Garden thread label, and it's stitched on a fabric by These Missing Stitches, which I was kindly gifted when I did a Stitch Across the Pond. It was a spring or summer exchange last year, I think. Yeah, so lovely fabric, but not quite the size I had thought it was. So hence the error, getting a bit close to the side on one side. So my other whip go was number 4, and it's Spring Quaker. It's in this beautiful bag from Pauline at Sobe Bags with Teresa Cogurt, Spring, Easter. I just love this fabric. Bunnies. It's absolutely gorgeous. So it's Spring Quaker. Here we go, from Lila's Studio. And this was started last April for my friend Alex, who's Salex Stitches. It was her birthday start. Now, this year, Alex started an amazing, absolutely amazing Kathy Barrack chart. Can't quite remember what it's called, but it's got a big house on it, and it's got Quakers on it, and what else has it got on it? Oh, so yeah, Quakers and a house. Now, Alex had said, there's a group of us, friends of Alex's. We were like, what are we going to stitch? What are we going to do for your birthday? She said, right, we'll either choose a Kathy Barrack, something with Quakers on it, or something with a house on. And I said, well, actually, that works quite well for me. I'm trying not to buy anything new, so I didn't really want to buy a new, although I love the chart that Alex has chosen. I possibly could stitch it in the future. Didn't really want to be buying anything new. I said, well, Alex, I am going to pick up Spring Quaker that I started on your birthday last year. I will show you a picture of where it was. And like Remember Me, I had also made a mistake the last time I stitched this, which I then had to spend time frogging before I could carry on. I'd stitched this basket here, and I'd carried on stitching the checkerboards right to the end, when actually they weren't complete. I should have stopped and just done little half boxes. So I had to unpick those, which was frustrating. But I have now unpicked that and stitched to the end of the basket and stitched. This was really good on Alex's birthday. We did a birthday Zoom, and I was able to stitch on this. And I knew I had a big, long stitch along the bottom of the basket to do. And I've also done some of the house. So I've done 2 sessions of this now this week, one on Alex's birthday and another this week. And I made a little bit of progress on the houses in the basket as well. So this is on Beautiful by Fabrics by Crafty Kate. It was a nice big, well, I think I bought a fat quarter, and I did actually cut a bit off the bottom. But yeah, lovely piece of fabric, 36 count. I am stitching this with predominantly the called for threads, but I have made some changes, and rather than stitching those Quakers in brown, I'm going to stitch them in blue. And I've also got some old purple paint by the Gentle Art. Love that colour, purple, which I will also stitch some of the Quakers with that as well. So I have made some changes. I thought I wasn't too keen on the Quakers being brown. I'm not a big fan of brown. So I made some changes. So this also needs to go back into the current whip box, because I've done 2 sessions on it, so I need to do another 3 by the end of April. So, oh, I mustn't forget. This normally, well, it's normally out for Halloween, but actually it's been up on the shelf behind me while it's not been Halloween. And somebody asked, I think a couple of videos ago, what it was, if I could tell them what it was. And I just suddenly thought today, right, I must tell. I'll go and find the comment and try and remember to comment on the comment as well, asking the question. But this is La-di-da, and it's something wicked, and it's gorgeous. So many of us have stitched this, and I think, is Sherry, just so Sherry, stitching it at the moment, maybe? I can't quite remember. I'm sure somebody is. Could be Sherry. This was my first kind of foray into dyeing fabric. I wanted to find something that was kind of quite grungy and was a little bit like kind of an old piece of paper, kind of parchment. And so I think Simon bought me the dyes actually for Christmas, just the little tiny fabric dyes that you can get. And I just got a piece of, I think it was antique white, and I just went and splodged some. I don't think I had a brown in there actually, so I think I just had to mix some colours, some green and some red, and make it kind of a bit of a grungy brown colour. And I quite like how it came out. I think it looks really good. So yeah, really pleased with that. That normally lives just up behind me, so someone had spotted it and liked it and asked what it was, so I thought I'd just let you know. So plans. Oh, I've got so many plans. So first of all, oh yes, so my friend Sarah, who's Cross Stitch Sarah, had popped, I think she'd been sent this chart by Pauline at Soapy Bags and said, oh, I'm going to stitch that. I was like, oh, I've got that one too, I'll stitch it with you. So I think, so Strawberry Harvest, and also another friend, Tracy, I think is going to join us. So if you'd like to join us, do let Sarah or I know. And so I've started to kit this up, and I've been having a look at, I've got some beautiful, do you remember, oh, I've dropped one. Do you remember a couple of months ago I won some Cottage Garden threads? Well, I've not managed to use them yet, but there were a couple of colours that I thought, right, I'll try and use those in that chart. So I've been kitting it up and having a look at colours. So that's one that's coming up. Oh, Ducky Day. Ducky Day was last week. So Ducky Day, that's part of the Quaker sale. So I stitch on the Quaker. Here's the chart from, it's some Star Parades designs, and I started this with a gang of friends at Big Stitch last year, and we're planning to finish it for Big Stitch next year, 2026. And a few of us have a plan that we will stitch on it every second Sunday of the month. Well, of course, last Sunday was Alex's birthday. I'm just going to have another sip of drink, just getting a little dry. So it was Alex's birthday last Sunday, so I was stitching on my spring Quaker. So couldn't stitch on the Quaker, so do need to get a Ducky Day in April. I have had a look at how many stitches I need to do a month to get it finished for Big Stitch next year, and it is 915. So I think that's quite a big stretch actually, but I'm going to attempt it. So I need to get 915 stitches in for April if I can. What else? Oh, so I've got 3 sessions on Whip Go to do. I need to do that. I did have some stitchy kindness though, and I think this possibly will dictate my new starts. So first of all, I received the gorgeous Cotton and Twine box for May from the lovely ladies at Historical Sampler Company. Again, this is also, it's always beautifully packaged with this beautiful paper and everything in it. So I'm going to pop it down because that's easier to show you. This month's design is one by Historic Sampler Company, and it is little bee scap with, it's one of the monthly ones, and it's June, so actually it's the April box. So you have until the 25th of April to order this one if you'd like to order it. So there is the chart. The chart this month, it's just a colour chart this month. and I get the 32 count linen. Might swap it out, haven't decided yet whether to do it on that or do a different fabric. Beautiful, beautiful colours. Again, oh, that purple's beautiful. You know I love purple. So gorgeous, gorgeous fabric and thread. There is a needle in there, I believe. I saw it earlier. Yes. Tea bag. I cannot believe that I have not managed to eat this yet, or my family haven't seen it. But honeycomb milk chocolate. Oh, do you know what? They've both just looked. One of them has actually come to the door. She must have heard me saying something about chocolate. I'm going to eat that when they're not here. Little Busy Bee, which is beautiful. I think I might go and put them a Little Busy Bee on my Easter tree, actually. And then this is brilliant. A little frame for finishing it. And I think even if I stitch this in the 36 count fabric rather than 32, I think the frame will still be absolutely perfect for it. And this is a monthly one. So this is for June. Let's show you that picture's bigger. That's lovely. This is for June. They have done other monthly ones before. Now, once 12 months has passed, once the box is exclusive for 12 months, but once 12 months has passed, you can buy the PDFs of any boxes that they've done after 12 months after release. So I'm thinking I might probably stitch this with June, and I might buy the PDFs of previous months. I can't quite remember which ones they've done previously already. I think they've done 4, and stitch them so that I can then swap them out each month and have a monthly picture. That's what I'm thinking at the moment. So I think Sarah was talking about this, Sew Me Sarah, on her Flosstube on Sunday, and she said she might stitch bee here or hive or something, or you could if you wanted to, if you didn't have the other months. But yeah, I think I might stitch June and then get the other ones and switch it out. And obviously there will also be some months that will follow on following boxes as well, which will be absolutely fantastic. So you've got to the 25th of April to order that one. The Ada boxes are £20 and the linen boxes are £22 plus postage, whatever that might be for either the UK or for the country that you are in, that you are ordering it to. There is still a code to get 15% off your first box with Cotton and Twine, and that is first 15, so that is still in use if you'd like to use that. I have had another lovely bit of stitchy kindness this week as well, and I think this will be something that I will be kitting up to stitch, and that is the lovely Lauren at Flossabilities sent me her new chart, which is Shack on the Shore. It's a little bit like that tongue twister, isn't it? What is it? She sells seashells on the seashore. Yeah, Shack on the Shore. A little bit of a tongue twister. Absolutely fantastic design from Lauren and Sam again. And I think they've done this. I think a lady who was stitching Cabin in the Woods said to Lauren, oh, well, wouldn't it be lovely if there was a seaside one? And Lauren went, okay. And I think they will be doing a series of these, which is absolutely fantastic. So I'm trying to do a seaside themed bathroom. So I think this stitch will be in my bathroom. So I'm just trying to kit that one up now. I think I have some fabric from Fabrics by Crafty Kate. So that is one to be kitted up for a start very soon. What else have I got in my plans? Of course, fully finishing. So yeah, you know I've got lots to do from my Box of Doom. Go and have a look at that video. I'll pop a link if I can to it here so that you can just click on it because we're near the end of my video. So go and have a look at that if you haven't all watched it. Yeah, so lots of finishing to do. So just having a look at my notes. Oh yeah, who have I been watching? So there've been so many people have put out Flosstubes who we haven't seen for a while. So it was really good to see Nicola from Bumble Stitches back. Don't think she'd filmed since January. It was lovely to see Lauren and Mama Flossabilities. I've watched the start. I need to go back and watch that. But I think Lauren had already told me they'd had a tough couple of weeks. So go and watch Lauren and Mama Flossabilities and send them some love. Oh, my friend Jacinta, Crafting on the Plains. She finished, so actually she was on the Zoom for Alex's birthday on Sunday, and she finished White Winter Moth as we were chatting. Go and have a look at her floss tube and her finish of White Winter Moth by Kathy Barrick. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful, and I think a couple of our friends might be starting it later in the year, and I might just have to hop onto that, Sal, because I think I'd really like to stitch that one. Sian at Periwinkle Stitchers. Oh, Sian just is so inspiring. She has just got so many stitches, so much. I just aspire to be Sian and be able to stitch as much as she does, and also quilt. She just quilts beautifully. So yeah, when I grow up, I would like to be Sian. And my friend Karen as well at KBH Stitches did a floss tube this week, and I always love watching Karen. She's just she's lovely. She's a lovely friend, and it's great to watch her. So yeah, there's just so many. Oh, Sherry did one yesterday. I mean, Sherry's now filming every Saturday. We're getting a new one, and of course Michelle at Mama Loves You GB today. So it's brilliant. Michelle, she's a teacher, so she's off school for Easter holidays now, and she's hitting her box of doom as well and getting lots of stitches finished, which is absolutely fantastic to have some company. I'm off work next week, so I'm hoping I'm going to get lots done, especially now feeling a bit better and feeling a bit more myself. So I think now I'm in chaos around me, I think that's it for this session. I hope you have a lovely Easter. I hope you manage to not eat too much chocolate. Well, eat lots of chocolate. Don't get it on your stitching. I didn't tell you about that, but there is a bit of chocolate on one of my stitches. I'm hoping I'm going to be able to stitch over it this week. I'll tell you about that next time I see you. Have a lovely, peaceful Easter. I hope you manage to get lots of stitching done as well. Take care, everybody, and happy stitching. See you soon. Bye.